Greetings and salutations. Today we're going to take a look at the 4th edition Flames of War German Forces Sourcebook for the Eastern Front mid-war. This is Ghost Panzers. It is specifically for Kursk. So 1942-43. So pretty much the layout, it's colorful as you can tell. They use they give you maps, they give you a background as to what are the Ghost Panzers. Also talks about the special rules that you're seeing here, and then it gives a bit of a background information. Now, one of the nice things about it here is when you look here, this also tells you other major events that were happening in the war at that time. So you have a way of putting it into perspective. You have a map of the Russian front in July of 1943 to give you an idea where things were going. This is Kharkov, Part 3. And again, Kharkov was definitely a place that changed hands. Okay, and then there was Operation Citadel, which gives you the explanation as to why, what was going on with the Germans, what were they doing at this point. And certainly it was a desperate gamble for them. It also talks about Prokhorovka. Okay, this is on the southern end of the bulge, and it gives you the units again that were there and how far they penetrated in there. And then it talks about knowing your panzers, because remember, this is the German source book. So here we got to see some more of the more familiar tanks that you would tend to see later on in the war. The Ferdinand makes its appearance here, which again you'll find it on the Eastern Front, and you will find it in Italy. It was not there in North Africa, just as a side note. You also have the Ghost Panzers Force, where you can have different tank formations, including a mixed panzer company, a Panzer III, Panzer IVs, Panther tank company. This is where the Panther was first introduced to the battlefield. Tiger 1, ooh, Tiger 1 heavy tank company. Now we got a Tiger company in on its own. That's got to be expensive in points. The Sturmgeschütz, the Stug assault gun company. Here you have the armored Panzergrenadier company. So these are the Panzergrenadiers that are in half tracks. Now also you also have the Iron Cross formations that came from the Iron Cross book. So they're tying in, and what they're saying is, look, you can pretty much use these guys with these guys in here. So that's cool. So in other words, what they did, they took the mid-war on the Russian front, they split it into 2 books. So you're allowed to take from either book. For your force, it goes into specifics, history of the regiment, Panzer Regiment 39, talks about the Panther Tank Company, and then it gives you the stats. Again, I would suggest getting the unit cards. They're very nice to have. Then it talks a little bit about the 11th Panzer Division, because not all the Panzer Divisions immediately got the latest state-of-the-art tank replacements, and that's something you have to be careful of. Panzergrenadier Division Großdeutschland. This is a formation that fought on to the end of the war. And while it was a Panzergrenadier company, they did have tanks in support. No doubt about it. These were tough guys in there. And again, you get to see, now we're starting to see more of the camouflage that more mid and late war players are familiar with. You're not dealing now so much with the gray colored panzers, because this was roughly about the time period where they were shifting colors. And I think it was a question of matching with the terrain that was over there on the Eastern Front. Okay. Now you got the Tiger heavy tank here, and you notice here that these guys are in gray, the light Panzer gray, but you know, in this drawing here, you've got it more in the camouflage. Stug Assault Company. Okay. And again, the late versus the early Stug. The later Stugs, they have the longer 75mm gun. There's also the variant, the STUH, the STU, that had the 105mm gun mounted on it. That was a great for infantry support. Now we have support units like the Ferdinands. Okay, Ferdinand is 17 points. Whew. We also have the Brumbar here. Okay, so that's another one with a nasty piece of gear there. That 150 millimeter gun, short barreled though. You also have the Hornice tank hunter platoon. So we start to see some more variations, as we have the Martyr as well. Okay, 50 millimeter gun, 75 millimeter AT platoons. They work. The 88, dreaded and brutal. Okay, we have our recon units here. You also have the Lutjes or the Lynx scout troop as well. Now we start to see self-propelled artillery here in terms of the Wesp and the Hummel. Okay, again, useful to have, you know, on the field. Panzer II OP observation post. We have the naval werfers, the rocket launchers. We also have anti-aircraft units as well. Okay, and while you have your Stukas here, here now we get to see the HS-129 plane. Again, fairly nasty stuff. It has 3 centimeter guns, 30 millimeter guns. There later on in the war, it would be outfitted with a 75 millimeter gun, but that's not right now. This goes into telling you how to paint the vehicle. So again, this is great from a new person's standpoint. Okay, and it gives you the color range here. I believe this is keyed toward Vallejo. Okay, and then how to base your troops. What goes on what base? How should the base be oriented? And then here, if you want to expand your Ghost Panzer's force, okay, where do you go from there? And again, that's a wide open choice here. And then, of course, covering with a lovely map of Europe in 1942, the extent of the German conquests. Well, all in all, this looks like fun. It's going to be great to recreate some of those battles during Operation Citadel. And I think this will be a fantastic resource. All right, I hope this has been a benefit to you guys. You take care. God bless you and have a good day.